There are thousands of mines in the world, each one with its own superstitions, ghost stories, and strange happenings. But when those stories and unusual happenings start to spook workers and affect production, the mine steps in. That's when they call me. I, along with a few others, investigate any sort of strange and paranormal occurrence so that the mine can get back to normal. This particular time, I was called in to investigate the disappearance of miners in a remote gold mine. I wasn't alone on this one. We were a small team of 4 hired to go in and investigate. When I got to the mine, I was introduced to the other people I would be working with, and to my dismay, one of them was Mitchell. I had worked with him before, and the most polite way to describe him would be a toddler with a machine gun. He would lose his temper at the drop of a hat and could go from steady to Titanic in a few seconds. I was not looking forward to the job at that point, and probably wouldn't have taken it if I had known he was going to be there. I couldn't do anything about it now, though, and had to suck it up and get on with things. The head of the mine filled us in on which shaft they had been experiencing the disappearing workers. The workers were too afraid to go into the mine, and production had come to a screeching halt. Apparently the miners had uncovered a tunnel that led to a massive underground city. The miners said it was a legendary city of giants. After they breached the underground city, though, that's when the miners started to go missing. "They think it's a curse," he said. "None of my guys are willing to go down there anymore." The company needed the problem solved as soon as possible. The area of the country that the mine was in had many spooky tales of cryptids and creatures. The trick was figuring out which one was causing all the trouble and how we were going to handle it. The highest ranking hunter on our team, Dean, was automatically put in charge of the mission and the plan. He decided he was going to send me and Mitchell down to do some reconnaissance and report back after making contact with the entrance to the underground city. Giants are no joke. Why was he only sending 2 of us? It seemed like we were being set up to fail. I saw Mitchell as expendable, sure, but since I was being sent along with him, I knew that Dean saw me as expendable, and that kinda hurt. I geared up with extra ammunition and a few explosives. The explosives were going to be my last resort, my "I'm taking you with me" sort of weapon. I didn't want to have to actually use them, but it was better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. Mitchell and I went down into the tunnel, into complete darkness, with only our headlamps to lead the way. Time slowed down as we made our way deeper into the earth, but nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary. We had made it about a mile down the tunnel without incident when Mitchell announced he had to relieve himself. He propped up his rifle on the wall and proceeded to take care of business. I turned my back to him, scanning the tunnel until he finished. I was still watching his back when I heard him yell, "Hey, give me back my rifle!" "I don't have your rifle. I've been right here the whole time, and stop yelling." "I'll yell all I want," he continued. "I put it right here. Where is it?" I turned around to face him. I could see him looking around the wall, but not really looking. Honestly, there wasn't many places it could have gone, and I was stumped, just like him. My alarm bell started ringing. I immediately started scanning the tunnel both ways, looking for anything that could be following us, or worse, hunting us. "This isn't funny. Give me my rifle." Mitchell was about to pop. I could hear it in his voice. Before I could turn around to calm him down and get him to shut up and help me look for the culprit, he rushed me, knocking me down to the ground and grabbing me by the vest, thrusting me up against the rock wall. "I never liked you," he said as he slammed me back against the wall. I pulled my sidearm out and gave him 2 bullets to the vest. I knew it wouldn't kill him. I just wanted to snap him out of his rage. Under normal circumstances, yeah, maybe I would have gone for the headshot and just continued on. But these were possibly giants we were hunting. Taking on a single giant alone was a 50-50 shot. If there was an entire city of them down there, I would essentially be on a kamikaze mission. I needed Mitchell to help me get out of that tunnel alive. Unfortunately, he didn't see things the same way. The shots to his chest knocked him back, giving me a pause to get my bearings. I looked around for my rifle, but it was nowhere to be seen now either. I clutched my sidearm even tighter now. It had become my lifeline out of the mine. My plan to calm him down with a couple well-placed shots had the opposite effect. After he caught his breath, he looked at me with rage-fueled eyes. I could tell he was going to try and kill me now. The mission was a failure. It was all about survival at that point. "Don't do it," I tried to calm him down. He reached for his sidearm, and at that moment, a pair of gigantic hands and arms came out of the darkness behind him, yanking him back in. I couldn't see where he went. The tunnel had become solid with darkness. I stood still, peering into the now silent tunnel. There was no sound, no movement. All I could hear was my own heartbeat. A knocking from behind me broke me out of the frozen shock. I turned quickly to see nothing. Then another handful of knocks. This time, farther up the tunnel towards the surface. I had no choice but to head in the direction of the knocking. The only way out was to go through. I continued on, walking carefully, slowly, with the occasional look back down the tunnel to see if anything was following me. The knocking continued every few yards as I made my way to the surface. As soon as I saw the light at the end, I started picking up the pace, eventually coming to a full-out sprint till I was out and back into the relative safety. Dean and the other hunter were at the opening, sitting at a table, and looked shocked at the sight of me storming out of the tunnel at top speed. "I'm guessing you found something?" Dean said as the two of them rushed over to help me. "Where's Mitchell?" he asked. "Gone. It's definitely giants down there." Dean and the other hunter looked back at the mine shaft's entrance. "I think we're gonna need more guys," Dean remarked before looking back at me. "Just smash it, seal it, and leave it all well alone," I responded. Dean nodded back in agreement. The tunnel was sealed up and collapsed in the next day, and within a week the mine had returned to full productivity. Despite the close call, the entire trip was a win for me. I was alive, I got paid, and I was rid of one of my most loathed coworkers. All in all, I came out on top that time, but that was enough to keep me going till the next job.